Okay, good morning, everybody. It is 9:01 on Wednesday, December 20th, 2024. We are here for mandatory pre-bid for solicitation number ITB-24-02-EN titled Estero Island Beach Sand Truck Haul Project. I am Amy Baker. I am the town clerk for the town of Fort Myers Beach. On my right is Chad Schutz. He is the environmental project manager for the town. And Michael Poff, he is with Coastal Engineering Consultants. He is the engineer on this project. So to just kind of give a little rundown of what we're here for, I mentioned the project name and number. This was issued on December 8th, 2023 with all bids due by January 10th, 2024, whatever day that was. I had the date up. It's a Wednesday, January 10th, 2024. We do have the mandatory pre-bid today. Questions will be due by next Wednesday, December 27th, 2023. We will open the bids on January 10th at approximately 2:15. They are all electronic bids. If there's anywhere in your paperwork that it references triplicate forms, paper, sealed envelopes, anything like that, we will clarify that in this addendum, but it is all electronic through DemandStar. So don't send us paper. We don't like paper, it doesn't swim well. So, yeah, we've learned that the hard way over about 15 months ago, paper doesn't swim. So with that, I will hand it over to Michael. Are you going to do a little rundown on the project?
Sure. Chad, you want to say that first? Or?
Good morning. Thank you for coming. David and Michael's capable hands.
Just as a reminder, this is the mic that is picking up all our recordings, so please just, for those of you over there, just speak up a little bit so we make sure we catch your questions.
Good morning, everybody. Again, Michael Poff, Coastal Engineering Consultants. We've been the consultant for the town for numerous projects, and so we're helping them with all the hurricane recovery efforts. So this is phase 3 of a 3-phased recovery plan. The first one is what's under construction now, known affectionately as the FEMA emergency berm. FEMA allows local governments to build a certain size and shape template to make up for losses to protect upland property from a 5-year storm. There are certain sections in the town that didn't qualify for the FEMA berm, and there's lots of scoured out areas along the beach that were affected by Hurricane Ian, and then subsequently Nicole, and then subsequently Adelia. And so FEMA money can't be used for those activities. The town applied for, and they're getting a state grant. Supposed to get the check before the end of the year as a Christmas present to the town. That's what's funding this project. It's a state Department of Emergency Management funding source to help the town with the recovery effort. As I mentioned, this is phase 3, the berm is phase 1. There's also on the street, which is what you've heard us talking about, there's a large beach nourishment project coming as well. It's going to be a hydraulic dredge project using a near-shore bar area. And so the work that this project entails is to make up for where the beach project limits don't exist and where FEMA doesn't pay for the recovery effort. So the first major area is what we call the South Beach repair and fill scour holes. At the very south end of the island, it got completely rutted out. It has changed every storm. So we stopped surveying because every time we surveyed and did the plans, the next storm came. So we just stopped surveying because that seemed to bring more storms on us. And we'll answer one of your questions in this manner. In that some of the areas you see don't have plans, and you say, well, why wouldn't you have plans for each of these accesses and each of these scour holes? Again, every time we have surveyed and started preparing these plans, another storm has come. We just had this past weekend, we had that crazy high tide, and it moves sand around and changes the quantities again. So we just stopped doing that, and we're going to do a detailed pre-construction survey to prepare the plans at the time of construction. The two most challenging things of the project are, the first one is the environmental window. The area of the scour hole fill on the very south end has to be done by February 15th. At the latest, we could go another week possibly, but the birds will start coming in, and we are not going to be able to have you work as soon as birds start nesting. So you have got to blow and go and get the south end done as soon as you get a notice to proceed. The town has purchased the sand from Stewart Materials. It's their Immokalee mine. They have the sand ready to go. Hopefully you have worked with them before. And so that is the first place we have to go. There's also a berm segment on the south end that has to be built. We have a little more time there, but not much, because once the birds nest, there's a 300-foot radius on the bird nest. And so we're asking you to focus all of your efforts there first. Once that's done, then it's smooth sailing from there. You're going to be filling in the scour holes at every one of the public accesses. There's 26 of them. We did miss 2 on the plans. We're going to add those 2 onto the plans, Gulf Drive and Pearl Street. And then at 9 selected accesses, we're going to create, as best as we can, ADA compliant slopes, because those are the most popular accesses that the town residents and visitors use, to create a nice gentle slope over the berm. We'll reshape the berm and create those slopes. FEMA doesn't pay for that, so that's why we're doing it under this contract. And then if there's time and sand left, we will go back to some of the FEMA berm segments that Idalia wiped out or moved around, and have you reshape and rebuild those. And we'll work with you together on those to determine what we can and cannot build and have access to. And we'll do the pre-construction surveys at that time to have you fill out those areas. And we could do that along the way if you want to, as you're getting to certain accesses and using them to fill the sand. If you want to come in here and say, hey, look, we could rebuild this section, then we'll survey, have you rebuild it while you're there versus coming and going. So Chad has secured the access on the south end. There's a couple vacant lots down there that the property owners are willing to let us use. Straight shot for that first scour hole fill that I talked about, the priority area and that first berm segment. And then we have every one of the public access points. You can use any one of those to bring sand out to do the work. We'll ask you to work cooperatively with the dredge contractor. The dredge fill limits are from Lanark Avenue north, and then on the south end they're going to be out on the beach, but it's not in your work area. So that the beach dredge work and the truck haul sand fill work, it's on the same island. You're going to be crossing each other on Estero Boulevard. You might be crossing each other a little bit on the beach, but for the most part, there should not be interference. With that said, in this spec and also in the dredge contract spec, it says you shall work cooperatively together to help the town recover. That's what this project's about. And so it's our job to help them achieve their goals. So make sure you fill out all of the bid forms. We have to verify references. Don't make it difficult for me to try to find the people you use. Make sure you call them, make sure they're available over the holidays, or get reference letters and include them in. I guess they could do that, Amy. Would that be acceptable as reference letters?
If that works for you, that will work for me.
So if they're not going to be available, then get a reference letter from them and put it in with your bid form and tell us that. So email, phone number, whatever the way to contact them so I can get through to them. If I don't know you personally, I need to verify that if you're the lowest bidder to make sure that you're also a responsible bidder. Permits, they are basically the emergency order by the state of Florida and all its amendments. There's a U.S. Fish and Wildlife biological opinion, basically when you're working during sea turtle nesting season. So there's certain things you can and can't do during nesting season. That begins starting on April 15th, but the main things start May 1st. If you are able to get done before that time, you just made your lives a lot easier because you don't have to deal with all of the turtle. We have to wait till the turtle monitors patrol the beach, make sure there's no nests, and then you can go to work. So it does affect how you start doing your work after April 15th in terms of timing in the morning. What else can I talk about? Oh, the other permit is the state of Florida gave us the permit for the fill in the south end, so that's also in the bid documents. Make sure when you download off of Demand Star, because I'm used to working with paper. I don't know if you all are also used to working with paper, but
I'm dragging a bunch of people kicking and screaming into electronic.
so there are the federal documents. We put that in there just in case federal money gets added to it. There's the truck hauls technical specs. There are the plans. There's the FDEM, emergency order and amendments. The ITB document, that's the actual bid document from the town. A notice of bid opening, the notice of mandatory pre-bid bidding, which of course you have because you're here. There's the permit from the state, and then the biological opinions from U.S. Fish and Wildlife. So make sure you have all of those documents downloaded. Again, back on the plans, we are going to issue you an amended set of plans that will include those 2 accesses. And the other thing is we were able to get additional FEMA funds to build a little bit more of the berm. So you'll see when the revised plans come out, which our goal is tomorrow, to issue those. At the latest, it would be Wednesday next week, but we should be able to get them out to you tomorrow. You'll see some of the berm sections that you were going to build in this bid have been built. So there's less berm to build on the south end in that critical timing area. So it makes it easier to get done quickly because we have to build less down there on the south end. What else can I say about the plans? The public access points, as I mentioned, we have 9. If we have more sand, after we get all these other priority areas done, the town may identify 1 or 2 more accesses to do the ADA slopes. So again, when we get to that point, we're going to work with you guys in the town to figure out where's the best place to put that sand. The scour holes are around the 5,000, 6,000 area. That's right. So we have these 2 areas on the beach that we call them the 5,000, 6,000 block, because that's the address on Estero Boulevard, where those huge ruts occurred and scoured out on the beach. They're adjacent to Flamingo, and they are outside of the dredge hydraulic project limits. So we're going to have you bring the sand onto the beach. You can come through Flamingo and fill all those scour areas, because we don't have, they're outside the beach project limits. They're not FEMA eligible, but we can use the state money for it. So a large chunk of sand will go in those big scour holes at the 5,000 and 6,000 block as well. CEC will be doing the surveying. We'll do the pre-construction surveys. We'll do the post-construction surveys, calculate the pay volumes. You'll have to have a maintenance and traffic plan, chain of custody, truck tickets, just like you've used on other projects, and or when you're hauling fill for other projects, whether it's sand or so Stuart has their whole system set up. They now have an electronic tracking system as well that I understand. Didn't Amanda put that in play? And when she gets here, we can have her answer any questions about that. They're supplying the sand for the town for the current FEMA berm project. It's been going very well. The quality has been excellent. The standards have never been a problem for moisture content, grain size. They have a beautiful beach compatible sand, so everyone's pleased with that. That's the highlights. So we can take your questions. Submit your questions in writing. That way we are guaranteed to answer them properly. Even this is a mandatory pre-bid. We don't want anything to be said to be misconstrued. When bids are open, you say, well, he said that. Well, no, he said that. So put it in writing, and as Amy can attest, I will get answers back to her to get to you as quickly as humanly possible. And I'll take some notes too to help.
Okay, with that, we will open it up for any questions you may have.
And again, make sure you sign in. If you haven't, it's mandatory, so we can't confirm you were here, and she'll post the sign-in sheet.
After this meeting, I'll scan that and post that on Demand Star. So, okay.
Yeah, quick question, and we'll follow up in writing. We supplying turbidity testing on this project?
It's not required.
Not required. And I'm understanding this is a in-place yard measure for payment? Is that how the truck measure?
There's 3. There's the truck Delivery will be based on tickets, but placement is going to be based on the surveys. Correct. That way we know that it got in the right place. So,
And how long would, if we request a post-survey, how long is that time period before you be out here?
I'll answer as soon as I read the specs. Our office is in Bonita. We're the closest coastal engineering firm to the work area. We have 3 crews that do surveying, and so our goal will be as timely as humanly possible, but I don't want to misquote the specs to see how many hours it is. Can't seem to find the time. Maybe I forgot to put it in. Anybody remember where it is? 40 hours, minimum of 40 hours in advance of the pay survey.
And I know we're waiting for Stewart, but do we know how many yards a day they're going to be able to supply to the town?
We'll wait for Amanda. She said she's about 3 miles away.
And that survey question we need to ask because it's in the specs. It's under TS 7.6.2.
Anybody else?
Not an engineering question, but a list of DBE qualified subcontractors. Do you have that on your website, or how do we?
We do not have, we don't call for DBEs in our purchasing ordinance, so we don't list them on our
So there's
website.
no requirement for them?
You're encouraged, but there's no minimum requirement.
There's no good faith effort required.
So what's showing good faith then? Says what's the requirement to show good faith that you chase those?
You're encouraged, but there's no minimum requirement.
Thank you.
That's a boilerplate language in the town documents. The work that we do is pretty unique, so we can't put that requirement upon you because there's not a lot of firms that do this kind of work. So, again, you're encouraged, but there is no, and that'll be in the addendum, because that was formally asked of the town, and we will answer that in the addendum in that manner.
Is there an engineer's estimate on the project?
We'll put that in the addendum. There is, I don't have it memorized, but we'll.
Anything else? Any more questions? Go ahead.
Will there be a staging area for the trucks to drop off the sand, or will the access points be the drop off?
On the south end, you could use those lots, and then after that, it's all of the access, you have all 26 accesses are for you guys.
Gotcha.
The access has to be allowed to be closed to the public.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe that's covered in security, but let me confirm that, or else ask it so we can clarify it for you. The contractor is permitted to exclude their public from their work area as necessary to perform the work. Enforcement's at your responsibility. You can put restrictive barriers, warning signs, so yeah, that's TS 5.3. Oh, there's one more thing. There's a couple of no work areas. Some of the residents have not given the town construction easements. So that's what those no work zones mean. So do not cross through those no work zones. There's no fill being placed in the no work zones. Sorry to make you all work over the holidays, but they're making me work over the holidays, so we're all working together. I'm from Pennsylvania. We make hay when the sun shines.
And it's flinter out there anyway, so, you know, Florida winter. Nobody wants to be out there. It's cold.
This is a good week to work, but
Yeah.
we haven't given them notice to proceed yet. So. We're waiting for the check. we didn't put it out to bid until we knew we had the check coming, so no sense receiving bids if the money's not in the bank, so.
Okay, so we're just waiting on Amanda.
Miss Amanda from Stewart, that way if any questions about the mine, she can help answer, and then we can clarify those in the addendum if we need to. Yes?
And you guys said there's a document with the trucking specs that'll be allowed to be included in this haul. And I overheard you guys saying that there was a document with trucking specs for, or maybe I heard it correctly.
Well, there's the technical specs cover that, so make sure you downloaded that document. But the technical specs is separate from the ITB.
Okay.
So make sure you have the technical specs in the download, and it talks about the different parameters for trucking. Your maintenance of traffic plan has to be approved. So, yeah, it's definitely reduced traffic on the island compared to obviously pre-storm, but you still need to have a maintenance of traffic plan.
It's picking up every day. More and more people are getting back here. So.
More county lights.
Obviously, there's construction on the bridge on the south end, so be cognizant of shutdowns and slow traffic. And if you've driven up here to the beach, they don't have very good maintenance of traffic requirements. I called the city manager to complain the other day as I'm sitting in traffic because there was no maintenance of traffic plan being implemented on some construction work. So he's a friend of mine too, so I harassed him. But be cognizant with the trucks and your truck routes.
Yeah, we've done similar hauls to this area, and well, Stewart is definitely quite a while, and the route to come into Fort Myers Beach is, you know, you got south, you know, Iona, that's all heavy traffic. So I've estimated most trucks are able to get in about 3 loads per day, 4 if they really push it. So it gives a, you know, depending on what Amanda can supply, that will give me a good ballpark of how many trucks will be needed.
Now, is this, just asking, so I'm trying to think where store mine is, will they be coming down Corkscrew Road when you're coming from Immokalee, from their mine?
They could. Yeah.
So then you're not allowed to go Corkscrew from Alico to 75. So you have to go up and around. Hopefully people realize that, because that's a big issue. We do all the Collier's work, and that's a huge deal to stay off that section of Corkscrew with your truckers.
Yeah, the alternative route would be Daniels and 80.
It's a long 3 miles.
I was going to see what happened to her.
You gotta cut the light at Crescent.
She forgot, she got stuck behind that maintenance of traffic plan that I wasn't stuck in.
Or she's complaining about parking on Fort Myers Beach just about now.
Well, in her defense, she is, unless she stayed overnight, but she is coming from
Yeah, she said she had a 3-hour drive. She already,
Port St. Lucie, I think.
she's in the elevator.
What were the access? You said those 2 lots. Do you have an address for those 2?
I think we put them on the plans, but let me hop down there and look. Chad, you have them memorized?
I do not.
Are you going to send the list of contractors and your then?
Yeah, I'll add that to the addendum. I'll post it up on Demand Star.
We didn't put the addresses on, we'll put that in the addendum.
Oh, we got a chair for you up here.
Oh, perfect. Sorry, I live 3.5 hours away.
We have questions for you.
Okay.
So, where's,
I'm so sorry, I left Mound the 6th.
yeah, yards per day is the question?
Yep.
Yeah.
We're thinking 4,500 tons. I was talking to Chad. I think you have to double down for beginning of February to February 15th to get rid of through something, right?
Yeah, so that's the hard environmental stop that we're going against the bird nesting.
And how many tons has to get out then?
That's going to be up to about 25,000 total. That's the high estimate.
Okay, so the first 15 days would be getting 25,000, so that's fine, or more. If we did 4,500 a day, 5 days a week, you're looking at,
Yeah, it's 1.5 weeks.
so that's what, I mean, that's where I was thinking, trying to
That's
hit
great.
that mark.
Good.
4,500 tons, so you're saying?
A day.
4,500 tons per day. Do you have other commitments with Collier or other lead projects right now?
No other lead. I did speak to Collier. They're not anticipating their project to start until April. So your project would potentially be done if we stay at that pace. Or we could do the first 2 weeks at 4,500, get that coastal, that environmental issue completed, and then drop to 3,000 to be more consistent. I don't know about the access areas or how difficult any of that is. I mean, what are your thoughts?
We'll leave it up to them. They don't have a large place to put a whole huge pile of sand, but each access, they're going to be working each access, so they may not want 4,500 each day because they may be doing access. But again, that's between all of you.
Then maybe we should plan for 4,500 for the first 2 weeks to get through that part, and then drop to 3,000 because then it would still be on target to be completed or have it by the end of March. Are we doing 5 or 6 days a week?
I think we just said 6, but let me get the specs up. I mean, they can secure the lots and stockpile the sand. So if you could stay at 4,500, that's not going to be a
Okay.
problem.
Yeah.
You can stay at 4,500?
I've got 90,000 stockpiled right now. For
Which
this.
is, right, so we're already good. The sand is there, you can secure lots of, there's plenty of vacant lots on Fort Myers Beach to stage and put sand if you want to do it that way. You just need to know that you have a private property agreement. So, doesn't need to be anything fancy, but we need to know that you've secured private property owner permission to use the property. It's in the specs, it's covered by,
You said the south end has to be done first, though, correct?
got to do that one first. But there you have 2 lots already secured, ready to go. So, but the rest of the job, it's the beach accesses. So, as far as, let's say somebody wanted to bring in all 80,000 tons and get it on the beach in the first, well, take 80,000 divided, well, 112,000 tons divided by 4,500 is 30-some days. You theoretically could truck all the sand in and then work from a lot on the beach. I mean, leave it all up to you and Amanda how to work that out. So we're not going to dictate those kind of means and methods. And so, as I said, there's a lot of property to use to secure if you need to. What am I looking up?
Saturdays?
How many
Thank you.
days a week?
Remember what we said, Chad?
I want to say Saturday, we're asking whether or not they can work on Saturdays.
That was the question, 5 or 6 days a week.
Do not recall.
Did you say those Saturdays?
We're trying to find that answer here.
At this time, we say no work shall be performed on weekends and town recognized holidays. You want to give permission to work Saturdays?
I don't know if you
I
need
mean, sir?
I don't know if you need it, at least for trucking.
Yeah,
Maybe replacement.
Yeah. With going into spring break and weekends are very busy, might be best to not, but I'll double check with my bosses and advise them they did.
Okay. We'll
But this thing.
confer with the administration of the town as far as weekend work during spring break periods.
Well, anytime after New Year's, it just gets busier and busier and busier down here until Easter.
Yeah.
So,
The original thought was don't work Saturdays. If you all want to work Saturdays, I would encourage you to put in your questions to us in writing. We encourage the town to let us work on Saturdays. If we get a bunch of requests from you all to work Saturdays, that's justification to go to administration and have them change their minds. So.
okay, anything else? All right, well, if you think of anything further, go ahead and submit them in writing to us. The email is in the bid documents, but it is bids and it's plural, BIDS fmbgov.com. And remember that all questions are due by next week, December 27th by 4 p.m. And we'll get this addendum out as quickly as we can. Might not be this afternoon, but it will probably be tomorrow, I would hope. Today's Wednesday, Thursday, because we are closed on Friday, so
Friday and Monday
Friday and
for the
Monday.
next 2 weeks.
All right, what I have down is we're going to let you know turbidity monitoring is not required. The daily volume for sand supply will be up to 4,500 tons per day. The engineering opinion of probable construction cost will clarify the good faith, give you the addresses for the 2 lots. And there are a couple other questions that come in we already have answers for. And then we will have a revised set of plans. Again, the changes are, we're adding the 2 lots at Pearl Street, or 2 public accesses, Pearl Street and Gulf Drive, and some of the sections of the berm that was scheduled for you to build have been built under the FEMA project, and so it's less work to do, and that's primarily on the south end where we have the environmental window. So.
Okay. There's no further questions. One more. Go ahead, sir.
I would like to try and visit those 2 lots. Can you give us a description on how to get there?
Do you know the addresses of the 2 lots on the south end?
So the Wyndham and,
No, Wyndham is for the dredge contractor. It's the very 2 south end lots.
so Hardin.
Yeah, you just,
And,
Hardin and the one just north of her.
and Kirk Kramer's. I can look it up on Leaper real quick.
Kramer, is that Rude Kramer?
Yeah.
That's like 8150,
8150? Yeah.
8170-ish?
I think Eddie's,
I have a question. If we have more property to put the sand on, like another acre lot that I have private access to, do I put that in the bid as well? So there'll be 3
It's not required at the bid time, just when you go to construction, we'll just need the
private, okay.
private owner agreement with yourself and that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure Kramer and Rude are like 8150 or 70, and then the other lots, looks like about 6 or 7 lots further.
So on the construction plans, Tarpon Road, that intersection, it's the lot directly opposite Tarpon Road, slightly to the north and west. Y'all can go up and look at the zoomed in version if you want.
so
I mean-
8170. And 8258. Go out of this hotel, hang a right, keep going. If you hit the bridge, you've gone too far.
Turn around.
There is active construction at the FEMA emergency berm, so I'd ask you to respect that operation. If you're out there and you see the trucks and dozers and stuff, please be mindful of that.
Okay, any more? All right, with that, it is 9:34 and we will adjourn this meeting.
Thank you
all
everybody for coming.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Blessed Kwanzaa. You don't have to apologize. You came the furthest. You don't have to, you came here for a 5-minute
Emergency berm awarded to your